The most mysterious of the Adeptus Astartes chapters, there are none alive who can claim to know the origins of the Grey Knights with any certainty. It is the role of this secret order of Space Marines to face down the demons of chaos, utilising their powerful psychic might and specialist training to banish the beings of the warp back to the Imperium. Founded back in the days of the Horus Heresy, the Grey Knights were a contingency put into play by the Emperor of Mankind. Seeing a future where the forces of chaos beset humanity, and that he may not be in a fit state to crusade around the galaxy fighting them, he set a plan in motion. Sending his right-hand man, Malekar the Sigillite, out into the war-torn galaxy, he was to find and bring back Marines of a certain character. Those Astartes who shone through the heresy to show not only a strong sense of duty and honour, but also who would be able to withstand the heavy burden about to be placed onto their shoulders. They were to be the saviours of humanity's future, leaving behind their past lives and brothers to be reborn as something else. When Malekar returned, he did so with 8 Marines, each a Psyker from a different legion, a mixture of those that would become known as Loyalist and Traitor Legions. There was to be a 9th, but Garviel Loken of the Lunar Wolves turned down the honour, feeling that his duty led him elsewhere. These 8 that remained, however, were then taken to Titan, a moon of Saturn, where the Sigillite had, unbeknownst to any save the Emperor, created a fortress monastery. Not only was this secret fortress armed and kitted out to outfit an entire chapter of Adeptus Astartes, it also housed enough gene seed to create one. This gene seed was not of any current legion, but it was created instead by the Emperor himself, designed to owe no allegiance to any Primarch. Each Marine born of this gene seed would be a Psyker, capable of mustering the magics of the warp to their will. Pure was their souls, however, and they would be trained to be resistant to the temptations of chaos. The Emperor understood that it would take an army of Psykers to fight the legions of demons, but took precautions to ensure that he wasn't just creating another army for the great enemy to claim for themselves. Much as the Sisters of Silence would negate the beings of the warp, the Grey Knights would overpower them, utilising their warp craft to undo that of chaos. As the heresy began to reach the Sol system, the 8 chosen Marines were entrusted to their new home, and the Thousand Son, who would now be known as Janus, was anointed the first Supreme Grand Master of this new order. Before the War Master's onslaught on Terra could reach Saturn, a grand wave of psychic energy rippled out from the moon, and in an instant, it was gone. Only perhaps a decade or 2 passed in real space before the planet locked away in the warp. Enough time had occurred that the chapter emerged fully founded, armed and battle-ready to fight that which they were made to combat. Found by the budding Inquisition, they were officially documented as the 666th chapter of the Second Founding. Their paperwork filled out and sealed from all but those within the Imperium's witch hunters. Such is the secrecy of their order, that survivors of conflicts in which the Grey Knights take part at first praise these strange Astartes for having saved them from these strange demons of chaos. That quickly turns to fear and pleading for their lives, however, as they learn that the Grey Knights cannot afford to leave behind any witnesses to their work. Even the Grand Fortress Monastery of the Grey Knights is shrouded in secrecy, with layers upon layers of both physical and psychic measures in place to stop any wandering soul from stumbling into Titan's fortress. Stealthed vessels and shrouded sensor buoys track any ship that passes near Titan, ready to intercept and destroy any unauthorized vessels that stray too close to the moon's surface. The moon itself has been left unterraformed, leaving an image of a frozen landscape of cryovolcanoes and oceans of liquid methane for any attempting a long-range scan to see. Carved in the shadow of Mount Anarch, however, lies the Citadel of Titan. From this home of the Grey Knights irradiate layers of psychic energy, a net cast out into local space to catch any interdimensional predators, as well as an unsleeping song of the psychic choirs of Titan, their mental melodies erasing any memories of the fortress from the minds of those who may have accidentally seen a bit too much. The strength of the Grey Knights is that they remain a mystery to the forces that they fight, and measures are in place to ensure that they stay that way, from each individual marine all the way up to the entire moon. All of this was planned out and set in motion, of course, by Malekar, whose final resting place lies deep within the fortress, within the Chambers of Purity. His tomb, containing a simple wooden box with a golden seal, also houses the Terminus Decree. Only the Supreme Grand Master of the Grey Knights knows of this scroll's existence, this added layer of secrecy protecting the knowledge of how to open the decree. It is said that the scroll contains the final sanction of the Grey Knights, a secret to be only revealed when all hope for humanity is lost, and is said to have the power to either save mankind or bring the Imperium as a whole crashing down. Until the day that it is needed, it remains within Malekar's tomb, sealed with a golden symbol found only in one other place, upon the Golden Throne of Terror. The Grey Knight's Chambers of Purity house more than the Sigillite's tomb, however, with countless relics and devices imprisoned amongst its sanctified halls. It is the duty of the Order of Purifiers to ensure that their charges of warped cursed weapons and demonic artifacts are contained and protected. Many of these items contain demons far too powerful to be unleashed, and the destruction of their containers would simply result in the warp entities being released into real space. As such, these chambers are haunted by screams and of the whispering promises of power should the knight patrolling the halls simply let the demons within out. The head of the Order of Purifiers, and a prime example of the required strength of soul needed for the job, Castellan Garin Crow stands as an exemplar to his fellow Grey Knights. So resistant is he to the wiles of chaos that he is thought to be immune to their touch, and proves his strength constantly by his guardianship over the demonic weapon, the Black Blade of Antwer. This blade proved too powerful to be destroyed, and within its isolation containment, inside the Chambers of Purity, it had called out to all the minds within the Citadel of Titan. Such was its will to bind itself to a mortal and dominate its mind, that its reach of corruption was seen as a threat to the monastery. It is this blade that Castellan Crow now wields, taking up the cursed weapon to ensure that no other could. Despite its great power, the Black Blade has not been able to seize Crow's mind, the demon's words falling on deaf ears as the Castellan fights and wins a mental battle with the demon within each day. Until death is he to be its guardian, and never shall he become its slave. Now, of course, we can't talk about the Grey Knights and not discuss the ultimate baby carrier of the 40k universe, the Nemesis Dreadknight battlesuit. There are few amongst the Grey Knights with the mental fortitude and psychic subtlety to both maintain their psychic defences and pilot one of these hulking battlesuits. But those that do find themselves able to wreak great havoc upon the forces of chaos. The Grey Knights know that a single brother doesn't stand a chance of going toe-to-toe with a Bloodthirster or a Great Unclean One, and so those that can will lock their battlesuits into place within a Nemesis Dreadknight. Once in place, they gain the strength and durability to fight the hurricane that is a greater demon, bringing their Nemesis great weapons smashing down on their quarry, breaking open skulls with psychic-infused swings. These grand battlesuits aren't just for going full-on rock'em sock'em robots with a Bloodthirster though, being able to carry massive psi cannons and heavy incinerators to blast down demons from afar and up close. All in all, they're even more destructive than a psychic dreadnought, with the added benefit that you don't have to be basically dead in order to pilot one into battle. The Grey Knights are a really cool faction in my opinion, a secret chapter of Space Marines designed and outfitted to take down demons and packing enough psychic might to give the Thousand Sons a run for their money. They are the Holy Knights of the Imperium, not seeking glory or to win new titles for their chapter. They simply fight for the survival of humanity, crusading across the stars to defeat chaos wherever it turns its head. I mean, what's not to love about heroic space knights who are also wizards with a secret moon base? We'll be looking more into the Grey Knights in the future on the channel, but for now, we'll be leaving the 666 chapter here, all caught up to the 40k universe. If you've got a favourite bit of Grey Knights lore, let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you've enjoyed the video, consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. It really helps us to continue what we're doing. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.